Yeah, was a scientist named Bruce Alexander, who's still alive. He's a Canadian psychologist, and he was looking at that. Actually, it was propaganda because this was in the 80s. The Reagan
Right.
administration had all these, just say no campaigns, and they used that research showing like this rat will just keep hitting the cocaine button. And Bruce Alexander looked at that and said, "Wow, that doesn't jibe with what I know about rats," because he worked with rats in his research. Rats are very social, and he was like, "Well, okay, let's look at this research." And what he found was that all this research was using rats who were isolated in laboratory cages under fluorescent light, 24 hours, 24/7, totally unnatural environment. And these rats were desperate. So he thought, well, maybe that's why they're so eager to get the drugs, because their lives suck. Let's create an environment where the rats are comfortable and see what they do then. So he created what he called Rat Park. So it was a big enclosure, lots of rats together, all different ages, male and female. He replicated a sort of natural rat social situation, lots of toys and balls and wheels to run on. And, the lights would get dark at night and come back on in the morning. So they had sort of a natural light cycle. And then he put the same drugs in, next to the water bottle, another bottle that had cocaine or heroin in it. And he observed the behavior of the rats. And what happened was the rats would come over, they would try the bottle with the drugs in it once, and then they wouldn't do it again. They would just take the regular water after that. They weren't interested in that compulsive access to the altered state of consciousness because their lives were fine. So, this research was replicated around the world in different laboratories, and it shows, again, the bias, the willingness to believe really shoddy research as long as it reinforces the standard narrative. But when you have research that questions the standard narrative or the position of, wealth and power, it's very hard to get the word out. So, yeah, Bruce Alexander, fascinating guy.
I know a thing or two about questioning the mainstream research and pushing a boulder uphill to get the word out, because certainly the mainstream perspective now, based on shoddy science, is that animal foods that our ancestors have been eating in the wild, animal organs and meat, are bad for us, and that we should eat lots of kale. And that's just crazy. It's insane. Yeah. And so it's
or Impossible
yes,
burgers,
yes.
right? Made out of soy. And I mean, to me, the Impossible burger is the modern equivalent of margarine. Like when I was a kid, they were telling us margarine, the healthy choice. And then it turns out it's like industrial byproduct sludge, with yellow dye in it.
Yeah. But it'll lower your LDL. Yeah.